I believe that the fires we're cast upon on the flames we shall become. I believe in a common calling where our temples pray as one. I believe in the word of wonder and a kingdom for the saved.
Larry Pollock here with Luke Carroll and Leo Mayrhofer. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk a little review over last week's Italy show where Urs came in and dominated the show and won his open debut, and also talk about the Germany show coming up, which Urs is again going in against the same group of guys, basically. And we're going to talk about our predictions there. Also, Keon Pearson has announced that he is going to make his open debut in Prague, and we'll talk about what we think about that situation. And we're going to touch on, not go into great detail, but a little bit on the Charlie Kirk situation, since it's on everybody's mind, and we have some strong feelings about that as well. So let's kick it off with talking about Italy and what happened there with Urs coming in. In our predictions prior to that, I shouldn't say ours because Leo predicted Urs to be the winner because he has inside information because he's worked with the guy.
Yeah,
and he also saw pictures going in before no one else did.
So whole posing video.
Yeah. So he knew what was coming. And I can't say that I was shocked or anything because, you know, with an extra 30 pounds of muscle mass, we expected him to do some big things. But he was going against Quinton Beastwood, and, you know, he had just taken second at a couple big shows or second and third. And he was pretty much the favorite to win that show going into it. And then we had Sergio Oliva Junior also going into it, looking at his best as we've seen him in a long time. So overall, I mean, I had immediately when I saw the pictures, I saw Urs as the winner just based on density, thickness, overall conditioning. He just had and of course his structure. He just stood out in the lineup in a different way than the rest of them, and in almost a surprising way, because we kind of expect you know, a classic guy to be smaller than open guys, but he really didn't look smaller in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, he has a perfect structure, right? So it's like Dexter Jackson coming in. He can be a little smaller, but he's just so flawless from his whole structure. There's not one muscle that looks off, that has a weird shape, or like someone has like the straight quad sweep, or, you know, something weird looking. Like everything attaches at the right spots. Maybe the back should attach a little lower, and that was his weakness. And it's interesting because after the fact, Jay Cutler said exactly what I said, that he's kind of like has the same attributes like Jordan Hutchinson, right? And I agree, but he just looks way better than Jordan Hutchinson.
He has better structure. He has better structure for sure. I mean, Jordan's fantastic, but he's pushing the limits of his structure and his what his body can hold. But I think Urs can keep growing. Actually, I mean, he was like what, 253 or 258, something like that.
So he said 118 kilos, which is 161. 261. Sorry,
261. That is insane, man. I mean,
he's like 5'11" and a half.
As soon as you told me last week or maybe two podcasts ago that he was like 258, I remember hearing 258. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, he's going to be dangerous, you know, because I mean, I'm looking at his structure, and then he just brought so much like kind of finesse to the open. Like everyone else looked like cavemen up there, like doing their quarters, and he just had like He was holding his stomach tight. He was kind of doing all the right things. I mean, his presentation definitely stepped him ahead of, everyone else. So even though, I think his conditioning and his muscularity was like really what stood out. And then the presentation, I don't think he has like the most extreme best structure. I think Quinton probably has a little bit better structure, but Quinton did not bring it with the conditioning, in my opinion.
I don't think so. For me, the flow and the muscle bellies also are important. And Quinton has very straight legs. They look very straight.
Well, Urs has fantastic quads. I agree with that. His legs are really good. Just kind of the only weakness I could see was his back. He just didn't have enough kind of size through the back. And then when he's standing in front, when he's alone, he looks great. But if you compare him, his clavicles are a little bit narrower. He kind of like his shoulders like a little bit tiny, and then his like the bones, like the bone structure of his shoulders. Then his like, flowing kind of down from there is great. But when you stand him next to Quinton has like, kind of just like that, like Dorito. Like I think that Urs kind of just has like that might be his only kind of like weakness is like just a little bit narrow clavicles for how much size he's carrying. And then just through the back, I would like to see him bring up his maybe traps, spinal erectors, upper back, kind of maybe it's a posing thing because he was like rounding and kind of flattening out the muscles on the back a little bit. But it wasn't bad. I just am thinking like that's all compared to everything else on his body. I would like to see that come up specifically. But he's got so much time. I mean, now he's such a kid. He's like can really grow, and he's such a direct person. Like every show you see him advance so much. So I think that like he probably knows what his weaknesses are. He's not stupid, and he's just like, okay, I'm gonna go back to the drawing board after the Olympia, and just like he's gonna probably come back with like an insane back next year.
I will say this. I think initial impressions are huge. And the first shot that anybody hits in a bodybuilding show in the mandatories is a front double. Mm-hmm. And when he hit that front double in that lineup, his structure with the vacuum and the V shape, it just blew everybody else away. Yeah. And that one shot right there turned the judges in his favor. He
definitely stood out. I mean, like I was watching the call outs, and if you try to like look at anyone else, like, I tried to look at Theo on the far right, and my eyes just kept on like coming back to Urs. Like I was just like the beautiful structure in every pose. It just kind of like kept drifting back to him.
Remember this Middle Eastern guy? What's his name? He has a very nice front. I think he's also a Stefan Kienzel. Very nice front shots.
Yeah. But
his back is very weak. What's his name?
He competed at Italy, or were you talking about?
No, he was. Did he do Dubai? I think he did Dubai. Yeah. I forgot his name, man. But he was the same thing. They had him in the middle first, and then when he turned around, it was so bad. The others had such good backs. And in this lineup, the backs weren't great, so get away with it. Oh man, what's his name? With F or B? Really, really good guy. He won Vancouver last year or something like that.
Yeah, is it like Fahar, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Damn it. I think his last name starts with an M, like a Moza. Man, I don't know. It's right on the tip of my tongue. But, what about the rest of the lineup? I mean, Quinton, obviously we had a lot of hype coming into this because he was training with Mr. Olympia. He's had show after show to kind of tighten it up. And I think that he didn't really – I want to see just like – he just looks like he kind of has maybe a little bit of a water layer that he comes in with or something like that. I mean, I don't know. His conditioning looks pretty good, but compared,
he's getting flatter. Is
that what it is?
He was at his best in Tampa, and then he was a little flatter in Texas, and then he was a little bit flatter in Italy, and it's like through his upper chest.
Yeah.
and
his
just
back, his
and his
back
back.
as well. Like I see his upper back, and it just doesn't like. He just looks like he's like 4 weeks out to me. I mean, he's like good, he's lean, but he's just not like grainy.
But the problem with him is also his skin color and the contrast on the streams. When you see some pictures from people in the audience, his back looks so much better.
Oh, okay.
It's like the black guys. That's why Terrence Ruffin always looks like. If Terrence Ruffin is going to win the Olympia, there's going to be such an outrage because he will not look like the winner.
Yeah.
On the stream. If he looks like the winner on the stream, he's winning by such a landslide.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, we always do that. Like when I'm at shows, I look at the comments online and I'm like, you guys aren't seeing what I'm seeing in person. You know, I mean, even like me and Larry can attest to that with the Olympia last year. People were saying, you know, this and that about Samson. He's like miles ahead. And I was like, he was inches ahead, you know, like he wasn't miles ahead on his conditioning and stuff. So, but yeah, I think maybe you're right on that because definitely some of the other black guys as well, you know, Sergio looked pretty soft through the chest. I mean, he might have been lean. He might have been harder because I saw certain times when he would pose and it would.
Yeah, but he isn't dark enough to be messed up by the stream.
But
I like really dark guys.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But I mean, what about Mark Hector also? Mark Hector was actually a big
surprise. The same problem.
Yeah, he was a big surprise on this one. So I mean, I guess that just says like don't judge too harshly from the stream because it might be way different in person.
Yeah, I just had him third because I believed in Terrence Ruffin's assessment. He saw him in person. He was like, "The guy is crazy good." And I'm like, "Okay," but I don't think he's winning, so he's in third. But then I messed up. I think I said Tim Budesheim in fourth.
Yeah,
because I thought he could do a lot, but his hernia, I mean, he had a surgery, but you could see like the lower stomach, the same like my friend Justin. Remember Justin Musial competing? He had a hard time pulling it in. He did a very good job doing it, but that was the same with Tim. Then like all the size he put on didn't mean much because it just didn't look more because of his midsection.
Yeah. I mean, in that lineup, there was a lot of structure guys in that lineup. I mean, Urs, Quinton. A lot of, I mean, Theo. So this wasn't really like necessarily a mass monster show. So, you know, like I would say the two kind of like worst structures up there was Sergio and then Budesheim. Yeah,
Sergio said he ate too much. He shouldn't have eaten that much. But on the other hand, Sergio says, from what I heard, because a friend of mine is really close with him, and he said that Sergio gets flat. But then Sergio was like in the aftermath saying that his problem was that he ate too much and his midsection was a little extended. And when you look at the footage, I would say, his midsection looked a little wider than it usually does. But we also don't know, you know, his back looked really filled out compared to FIBO. And I think it was a lot of muscle, but maybe it was also the fullness helped him in other shots.
Was he on top of an injury after FIBO?
I don't think he had an injury, but I think he either had an injury or just a training break coming back to FIBO. And that's why a lot of people, and I also said that he looks like he has to grow back into his skin. And he totally did. Like when you look at the improvements he made from FIBO to now, even though he was placed one placing worse, he was way better.
Yeah, FIBO, he was just flat as a pancake.
Yeah. I think he put on probably like 10 pounds of lean muscle, I would say.
Who's coaching him now?
Stefan Kienzl is coaching him.
Okay. So Stefan had like half the lineup.
Yeah. But they had a kind of like a difference, you know, because Sergio posted that he should have listened to himself and not kind of eat as much as Stefan told him to. If you can read between the lines, you know that was what he was saying, obviously.
Yeah, which I think that he should kind of stick to the coach's recommendation on this one because, like, they just started working together. You know, I think that, like, doing the more they do, the more that Stefan can learn. And if he kind of just like gets cold feet and doesn't do whatever, then I think that he kind of will. Stefan's not going to get the like data, to use into the next show that might be useful.
Yeah, I mean, you either trust your coach or you don't.
Yeah.
Or you have a more of a consultant relationship, and then you can't blame it on anyone because then it's on you. So if they're like, I mean, that might be the best idea if they keep working together, that they kind of consult, and Sergio makes the last decision maybe. So then he can have the benefit of a coach, but at the end of the day, be like, okay, it's on me if it works, and if it's on me if it doesn't work. I feel that it sounds like the best approach for him personally.
For some people that are more level-headed, maybe they can kind of do some things on their own, but he's a very emotional guy.
Yeah, I think he gets
right before a show. He should not be making those calls.
Yeah.
Well, he thinks he should, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, I tend to believe that maybe you should to some degree, because if you're eating a bunch of food and you're like, hey, I know my gut, I'm with myself every day. You're not conveying that to your coach as effectively as you should have coming in, and you're like, I feel like I'm going to be distended. For whatever reason. You're looking at your stools and you're like, hey, this is like my gut's a little bit inflamed and stuff like that. So I think that you need to have that input, like you're saying, and maybe kind of guide your coach as well.
That's fine, but he's got to communicate that to the coach. But the thing is, he gets in his head, and when he gets in his head, he's going to make rash decisions at the last minute.
Yeah.
And eat too much or too little or whatever. And the coach is not as emotionally involved, so they're not going to make, rash decisions and do something off the charts that's going to throw everything off at the last minute, or at least they shouldn't.
So
the only thing, to answer that guy's comment, the only thing better on Quinton's structure is his clavicle width. Everything else, from muscle, belly attachments, and shape, you want to tell me Quinton has a better bicep shape? Quinton has a better leg shape? Quinton has a better lat shape? Quinton has a better chest shape? Quinton has a better shoulder shape?
I would say his back
I would say no.
Structure, maybe how they were posing Quinton's does look a little bit better, but I think that, I mean,
people confuse structure with X-frame. That's everything they know. Okay, silhouette, that's it. No, that's not all.
Yeah, it's the whole picture.
Yeah.
What's going back to Urs, his what are we like? Obviously, a long ways out, kind of thinking that he's going to be in the lineup. Are we thinking he's going to be like a second call out kind of guy, or I don't know.
At Olympia?
First, at Olympia. Sorry, I don't know if he could break into the first how it is now, but maybe in the next 1 or 2 years, I think he could have a breakout. I mean, he could probably match up well against some of those guys. I mean, like next to Martin, he's going to be inches taller. He's going to be as good or better structure than Martin. So, I mean, he could maybe be up there, but I don't know who he would like replace or push out of the top 5.
I mean, if Urs beats Martin, Martin has to be off.
Yeah.
Martin's back is so much better than Urs, and Martin doesn't have less muscle.
Martin has probably has better legs too, because Martin's legs are just like. But I think they're both like extreme structure guys.
Yeah. If Urs makes the second call out, that's a total win. Mm-hmm. I could see them just putting him in and see how he compares, and then they move him in the third one. Or if people are off, he stays in the second one. That would be awesome.
I think
because there's so many. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think there's so many great guys in that lineup. Like there's Rubiel. There's so many people.
There's new guys. A lot of new guys.
Hutchinson. Bonac. So many guys.
It'll be an interesting show because there's a lot of talent. I think that the one thing with Urs that could be a game changer is like I think his conditioning is just like probably will be like almost the best on the Olympia stage, just because he comes in like freaking peeled.
Well, but this conditioning wasn't anywhere. It was not far, but it wasn't as good as his classic conditioning.
Because he has to push down so hard.
Yeah,
which is kind of. It's a little bit strange that he's able to maintain that conditioning with losing muscle, because usually what you see if somebody has to cut down that hard, they get stringy and their body kind of loses that like fullness and like pop. And he didn't lose that at all. Like when he came down to classic, like he still like retained that like extreme conditioning.
Yeah, you could somehow fill it out. There used to be this drug that made you so full. They used it in the 90s. A friend of mine always told me about it. Is it Cytodren or something? Could that be?
I've heard
anti-cortisol.
Yeah.
Is it that? Like something made people crazy full, and Gary Stridham like swore on it.
I heard John Meadows talked about it, and he said it was like the worst thing that they ever used in bodybuilding.
They used it when they did the diuretic ban, and they used it for that 1 year when they had the diuretic ban, and the guys were using it to like get dry instead of using diuretics. And I actually used it, I think, in a couple of shows. And all I can tell you is you feel like death on that shit.
Yeah.
Maybe it was something else, like something that makes you crazy full. And that sounds like something that makes you crazy flat. So
yeah, I mean, it's anti-cortisol. So I don't know about. I don't remember it making you full. I remember making you feel like shit and drying you out.
Yeah, then it's something else. But there was something they used to take. Man, I don't remember. But I also think Levroni took it. A lot of those guys. Cormier, I think.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. EPO.
No, not EPO.
They were using that in the 90s.
Yeah, but that makes sense too. Yeah.
They were using it in the 90s. I guess
I was just like thinking maybe that's what Urs used to fill out fast again.
Maybe people weren't worried about the hematocrit and whatever, but they were using it. They used that and Anadrol to get full.
Yeah, but I mean, Martin last year and Nick Walker, and when Derek won, I think they were probably drier than Urs at the last show. So Urs has a little bit, like, he has more, he can be drier, and he knows that. So he told me he tries to come in tighter now in Germany. And I think that's the right approach, because the other guys will try to come tighter. And if he stays the same, it might get close. But if he also improves, they were like, well, he got better too. So we'll still give it to him.
Yeah, I could see maybe second call out if someone else is maybe probably gets called in the second call out, but I don't know if he can maintain maybe around that like 10th place, something like that. I think would be a realistic with Urs, which would be a win for me, in my opinion.
I don't see anything changing in Germany this week from last week as far as Urs winning. I think he's still going to win again.
Very easily could.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe
unless Clinton makes some drastic improvement in some kind of a way, but I don't know what he could do to make the difference.
Yeah.
I think the driest guy was probably Louis Breed.
Mm-hmm.
And Holbeck was also.
I think that's one of Milos's guys, right? Louis? Was Milos coaching him?
Oh, I don't know, but definitely looks like it.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah, he just didn't have the structure to hang with those guys, but he was definitely etched out.
The UK guys, they're like in their dungeons and getting like
peeled.
You know, they're always
now
crazy.
With Urs, he's got the better structure and he looks a little bit thicker in different body parts, and obviously they said in classic his arms were smaller because he was smaller, and now his arms they're probably not measurement wise as big as Sergio's or
no, Sergio's great arms,
but they looked good.
Yeah,
just the shape of them. They held his own, like in his front double and stuff. Mm-hmm. And how much of that, obviously genetics plays a big part in your structure, in the way you're shaped, that you just what you have. But how much of that do you think is from his actual training?
That's a good question. I think his training is pretty close to optimal. Like, he's really putting a ton of thought into it. On the podcast I had with him a few weeks ago, we talked about it, and he's really, really trying to Yeah. Do everything right. Like,
what does he do? Does he do just like a progressive overload, or is he like a traditional pump kind of guy, or is he
I think he does still top sets and back off sets.
Okay.
He does a little more volume than like the super low volume guys right now.
Yeah.
Especially for back. He I think usually he trains like 3 days, 3 out of 5 days. So a lot of rest too.
Mm-hmm.
He usually puts more emphasis on certain body parts, training them first, or even like training biceps before leg day or stuff like that. Really, so
getting in the frequency a little bit more.
Yeah. So this is very planned out, very
methodical.
Individualized.
Nice.
Well, he's training with Marcus Rule, so he's training heavy.
Nah, he's not training with Marcus Rule. Marcus Rule trains with him once a year for a YouTube video. He's training with and that's the first time he trains with an actual training partner, because he moved down to close to his home in southern Germany. Back there, he was in Berlin in this bunker thing training, and now he has his own gym. And there's another pro down there, a really big guy, Dennis Reinhold, and he basically has the same weakness as back. Dennis needs just more detail. He has the width, and he also has a leg strength. So they're very similar in their needs. So that's really great for them to train together. And I think that's really, a really good tool for him.
We think Germany's probably going to look at the same, because it's going to be the same lineup. What about, let's shift over to this Prague show, talking about Keon. And I think that guy, Stefan, is going to do it. And so.
Is he doing it? I just heard that Dave Palumbo just told me his first show was in France.
Oh, okay. Is that
the Olympia?
Is that? I think it's like September 27th or something like that. Is that the one?
I asked Urs if he wants to do that show to qualify for next year and then be off, but he says probably not.
Yeah.
Very unlikely. So.
Well. Yeah, but Keon doing Prague. So, what's your guys' opinion on that one?
Well, my first thought is that it's a strategy that he's moving to the Open. So I think his strategy is win 212 this year, go do Prague, qualify for Open Olympia, and then do Open Olympia next year. So I think that's his strategy, and I think it's a probably a pretty good one, because he'll most likely dominate Prague easily. However, the fact that he's doing Prague, it might make some of the other guys want to jump into there from the Open.
I was thinking. I have a feeling that Andrew Jack wants to do the show. I don't know why.
Really?
I just have a feeling Andrew Jack wants to do that show.
Leo's got the inside scoop with
I said Keon is going to do the show on the Weinberger interview, and he's doing Prague. I'm like, this is going to be the transitioning show where people like switch divisions. So maybe that's going to be
I think it's going to be an easy win for him. I mean, he's phenomenal. Probably the best structure, muscularity, probably almost in the IFBB right now. So I don't think he's going to have any issue with making the jump. And then if he does make the jump to Open for next year, I mean, probably the same thing as what Derek did. Just put on 10, 15 pounds, come in at that like 220, 230, and just look insane. And then probably get a, top 5 call out.
Yeah, I mean, it would be so, like, dude, like, if you won it 3 times and you win by a landslide every time.
Yeah.
Like, you do bodybuilding for a challenge too, right?
Yeah.
And also, if he gets like second at the Arnold's, he would win more money than 3 Olympias combined.
True.
Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, I mean, and then if just like Derek going for the top of the thing, the Olympia. I mean, I think right now, the way he's been coming in at 212, he could probably get a top 5 call. I don't know if he would necessarily win, but I mean, he could definitely get a top 5 call out and be in the mix of if somebody, if somebody's off, if somebody's on. I mean, maybe last year with Samson not being as chiseled as what we'd hope he would be. I mean, maybe he could have pulled it off with his package last year that he had.
Yeah. And he will be like the captain of the hype train.
Yeah.
If he's doing that, and then going into the Olympia, he will get so much media coverage.
Yeah.
And right now, it's not bad, but 212 is just another level. Like, people are not that interested, and especially because they all no one thinks anyone can challenge him.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think is, if Keon's slightly off, this guy Lucas Garcia, he's business.
Yeah, he's
that
coming.
Guy's nuts.
What
if
about
Keon is a little off?
What about Clarita? Clarita's looks. I haven't really seen any. I've seen a lot of training stuff of Clarita, but does he have the stuff to kind of reclaim it, or is Keon too much overwhelming for him?
No, I think the Garcia guy is better.
Okay.
He's just as round, and he has a little better.
Is he? He's a Brazilian, right?
I feel.
Is he Brazilian?
Probably something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Could be. Maybe he's Mexican or something.
Maybe. Okay.
Do you have pictures of him?
Sure, we can pull it up. I think we even talked about him. We talked about him before on that when the Texas show was going on. Let me see. Lucas Garcia. Now, is Lucas with a K or with a C? It's with a K. Okay. I don't follow him. I'm sorry. I don't follow him right away. And shit. Got it? See it? Yeah. That's on it.
Damn.
Come on, guys. What a faker.
Come
on, bro.
I hate when they do that.
With every freaking...
Man, he looks good.
There you go. I don't think...
He looks short. He looks like he's 5'1", 5'2".
Look at the conditioning.
Yeah,
that's next level conditioning. That is crazy.
Yeah, he looks good.
I don't think Clarita can beat him. I love Clarita, but how can you beat this guy?
This guy looks wild right now.
Yeah, his back might be his only kind of weakness.
I mean, look, everything is so full. Look at his chest is bursting.
And it's chiseled to the bone.
Wow.
The guy is dry as fuck.
No, honestly, no weaknesses. Good back, great shoulders, arms, legs.
But the back is thin compared to Keon. But I mean, if Keon's not on, this guy is going to be I'll get it. This could be the greatest surprise.
Man, if that guy was
the whole show, if that Keon is not on, this guy is going to come and take it.
If that guy was 5'8", 5'9", he would be Mr. Olympia. He'd be indestructible, unbeatable.
Yeah. So Keon, I think, still looks better. But if Keon's slipping, goodbye.
Yeah,
this guy's coming.
I don't think Keon's gonna slip. I think that he's got a good thing going, and I think he's on the freight train to success right now.
I hope so. I mean, the last year was his best conditioning. The year before was good, and before that, a lot of times he couldn't do it. I think he really found the right surrounding and the right coach and everything. And
you know what he found?
I mean,
you might know, but his girlfriend is Haparican. Once he started dating her, and once they got together, his consistency changed, and she is an ex powerlifter, and now I think she's doing figure or something like that. But she is really regimented, and I think she's keeping him on the straight and narrow to keep really regimented, and that's all he needed. He's got the genetics. He just didn't have the if you're going through it alone, you don't have a good support system, then it's easy to kind of maybe get knocked off, which we saw him do a lot of times. But I think that's his secret weapon is the girl that he started dating just made it where he's on that trajectory now. I mean, he's bringing the genetics and the goods, and she's bringing the consistency, and I think together they're a dream team.
she's like probably like his mom, like slaps the food out of his hand if it's wrong. Like,
I mean, maybe he doesn't have to. Maybe she's just keeping it ready. You know, it's in the fridge. Yeah. It's always right there. He doesn't have to make it. He does, you know, whatever. I don't know because I kind of know her on, you know, from previous, like before they got together, I knew of her, and I think I just always know that she was like super consistency. She's got that like power lifter consistency background of like, you know, power lifters are so, like they're right on target with everything. So
that's a benefit, but it's a little scary if I was in his position, because if he's dependent on her.
I don't know if he's dependent on her, but I think that she's like the it factor that changed his trajectory for sure.
Yeah, but if he needs her to motivate him, I wouldn't want to be in that situation. I mean, you have the right girl in your life, you can make it, and if you have the wrong girl in your life, it can break it. Yep. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't want to be dependent on that.
Technically you should be able to do everything by yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, you know. So if you need someone, then it really depends on her. She should get half the price money. I'm gonna go to the restroom real quick.
I'm sure they're doing fine, but
you want to answer some of these questions, and then we'll get to the other thing.
Yeah, we can. I got a bunch of questions. I don't know if you want to answer them at the end, or if you kind of want to get started on right now.
We could do them. We could do some now.
Okay, let me pull them up. I put them on my story yesterday. I think that might be the best way, is to put it on the story, because then people kind of are a little more interactive instead of trying to be in the comments. Also, for anybody watching now, later, live, whatever, if you put them in the comments later, Larry usually will answer them, but if they're good questions, we might actually bring them into into just answering them on here. Let's see.
Well, here's one right here.
We can start with that one.
Mass with EQ in the off season. Use one of those with the test base. I've been on TRT 2 years and ran one cycle of mass testosterone.
Let me read it out loud so that the listeners can hear it. Does it make sense to run mast along with equipoise in the off season, or would y'all just use one of those with the test base? I've been on TRT for 2 years and only ran one cycle of 200 milligrams mass, 200 milligrams test per week while cutting. Who wants to start?
I'll say this, okay? If you're a guy who is kind of watery, maybe tends to hold a lot of water, maybe high estrogen, and then you could probably run Mastron in the off season, and it might do something for you.
But you should lower your estrogen more than Mastron.
I know, but I'm just saying, if you're normally like a person that's a little bit watery, naturally for whatever reason, then I could say I don't think it's a huge benefit to run it in the off season. I don't believe it's as anabolic as some people claim it is. I think other things are way more anabolic, like Nandrolone and EQ I think are way more anabolic than Mastron. But if you're a watery guy, maybe it'll keep you a little bit less watery. But for the most part, in my opinion, Mastron is a pre-contest drug, and I don't really see it as a huge benefit in the off season because you're trying to put on size, and I don't think it's a big size builder. I don't care what anybody tells me. They say some people claim it's super anabolic, but I have not seen that in all the times I've used it, but with other people either.
Typically, Masteron we put in there kind of toward the end to kind of give you that like skin texture and kind of like keep coming down. I've never used it in the off season. I've used other DHT drugs though, and typically with DHT drugs, I have to run them a lot higher than I would with say Nandrolone or EQ to get a really anabolic effect. So say I'll have my test at like the 600, 700 range, but then I usually will run primo, but I'll run my primo at like 800 or 900, which a lot of people will be like, oh, that's extreme, but that's where I like really start putting on mass. A lot of people are like, primo is useless, but these guys are running it at 300 milligrams a week. So the side effects are nearly nothing for me on high dose of high dose of primo. And then the benefits, I start like really stacking on mass. So I stay lean. So Masteron is a DHT. Yes, they're not exactly the same, but I kind of will say it's like an analog idea of the same thing. I would think you'd have to run a higher number of milligrams per week of Masteron than you would of something like Larry said, EQ or something like that. I personally just changed over. I've been running Test and Primo for like the last 5 years. Has been all I've been running for my cycles. Actually, since 2018, it was pretty much all I ran. I ran Test and Primo or like Test and Trend if like randomly if I had to like get lean for something. But I just changed over to EQ maybe about a month ago, maybe not even that long. And I'm running it. My test is at 800 and my EQ is at 600. So I'm actually noticing good benefits from it. And I think maybe it's just from changing up the compound. So to answer your question, I would maybe run both, but run them like kind of one and then go into the other. Like start your cycle with test and mast at, like I said, maybe a little higher dose, and then go into the test and EQ kind of to finish off your cycle. Because I do notice when I run something straight through, like if I change something maybe after 8-10 weeks, then I get like another level. I get another benefit from changing it out, just because like maybe it hits the receptor differently or whatever. I get different benefits from it than if I just ran the single compound all the way through. So that's kind of my view on it.
I mean, he runs so little.
Yeah, he's running like
he could just run 600 tests
and get probably better benefits from it.
And I mean, he can run 100 Masteron with it to have more SHBG benefits, or just like an AI, or But I think Masteron. I mean, every time I try it again, I'm like, this is so useless.
I've only ran it in a pre-contest, so
I don't even run a pre-contest anymore. I'm like, there's going to be Winstrol in the last 2 weeks. What the hell? Like, why would I use Masteron? Like, just save that money.
Don't increase the dose unnecessarily. Like, if that's the dose that you're getting progress at 400 milligrams a week, ride that train as far as you can. And then, maybe the next cycle go up to, like we said, 600 or kind of change that thing up. Don't necessarily increase the dose. When I'm talking about running 1,500 milligrams a week, I've been bodybuilding for 18 years. So, I'm at dose finally, but like I spent a long time below 1,000 milligrams for probably 10 years. So
I want to say something. I don't know what I'm going to say is for fact, but it is what I've been observing in interviewing people over the last year and listening to people talk about their cycles. Most of the people that are high on Masteron are the NPC guys, the amateurs. I don't hear the pro guys talking so big on Masteron. I hear it from the NPC guys. And I think the NPC guys are the guys that listen to the YouTube people that broadcast this shit and don't know what the fuck they're doing because they have no experience. So whatever person on, and I'm not going to name names, but every person on social media is promoting a certain thing, these new guys jump on it because they're young and dumb, because you just haven't been around long enough to try anything to know what really works. But the experienced people in the pros, I don't hear them talking about Masteron a whole lot, especially not in the off season.
That's true.
I think this is a new idea that came around about maybe last year or two. And so it's just like a fad thing. It's, it's like Under Armour clothing line, is real popular and now it's getting less popular.
The thing is, the idea on paper makes sense. But if you look at people that do it, you'll be like, nah, it doesn't work.
It didn't work, yeah.
So
I tend to agree with what Larry's saying. I really haven't talked to a whole lot of pros that are using it any other application than pre-contest. So, and I think that if it was like a really legit thing, that we would be seeing it kind of a lot more. Because like a lot right now, you talk to most of the pros, and most pros are like, yeah, Primo is like one of my favorites, and then like, yeah, I grew a lot of my size coming up with Test and Deca. I grew a lot of my size with Test and EQ. But, you know, so there's like favorite things, but like you said, nobody ever is like, yeah, Test and Masteron is what I really added my size on with throughout my career.
And sorry, this is not to shit on the young people, but you haven't been alive long enough to understand very much of anything. You can't say because something worked for you for 6 months that you really understand it, because you haven't even been trained long enough to know. In other words, you haven't tried enough different things and different training styles and just everything to really get a full understanding of what's doing what.
Mm-hmm.
In other words,
try the Masteron with a true TRT. See how much you grow then.
Yeah. but
under test,
and then you have some young people, you know, they just have good genetics, and you're just growing from training and eating and whatever little bit of testosterone you're taking, and you think the Masteron's doing something for you, but it's really just you growing.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, look at Lee Priest. He has some like, he suggests some weird stuff that would work for no one besides him.
True.
You know, he's like, well, I took Deca 200 and I grew on that because, you know, I didn't want to take tests because the Deca just added to my natural test. I'm like, yeah. Like I didn't want to tell him, you know, Lee, that doesn't make sense. You shut yourself down more with the Deca than
I watched that
test, and your own test will be like 0, and you just on 200 Deca, and you're just growing because you're a mad freak.
It did seem like what he was saying on that was that he believed that at the time. I don't necessarily know if he believes that now, but he at the time said that he believed
on my podcast, right?
Yeah, on your podcast, yeah.
Yeah, but keep in mind, back in those days, a lot of people did that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people just took Deca because it just worked.
I mean, that's the technology you guys had. You guys were working through everything.
But a lot of those people won't tell you that, most of the days I also took 3D balls.
No, I know a lot of people that just all they took was Deca.
Crazy.
And
200.
And they grew. I mean, it's going to work for just putting on size if you take enough of it. It's just, you know, you're not going to have the other effects you get from testosterone that you might want, like, you know, for your dick and whatever else.
I can't use Deca. I hate it. I hate how I feel on it. But I grew on it really well, but I fucking just felt like a zombie that couldn't fuck.
Is it the same with MPP?
Yeah, it's any nandrolones. I'm really sensitive to nortestosterones. I mean, even Tren kind of has the like, I'll be like ultra horny, but I won't be able to like finish. It just kind of has the opposite effect. So there's another question here. It's not. I'm gonna get off the gear. I have a bunch of gear questions too, but I kind of want to like, you know, go through different stuff. So this guy's asking about forearm training. He says the best 3 forearm exercises to maximize growth. I don't know if we're gonna say 3, but we can maybe just talk about how to grow your forearms just in general. Because I mean, like I got decent forearms. Do you want to start, or you want me to start on that one?
Don't use grip help.
I love grip help. I love straps.
Okay, then you can't talk about it because you're just gifted.
No, I mean, I actually have a day on my program where I lift forearms. Like it's on back day, I train forearms after I train back, and I do there's different parts of your forearm. So you gotta train, like there's the muscle down here, there's a muscle, the brachyradialis. So I do behind the back curls for these. I get a barbell and I just do like behind the back, like kind of wrist curls. Mm-hmm. And then for the brachyradialis, I do hammer curls, and then I also do reverse curl where I'm going up like that. And I do it just like I'm training arm day. So those were probably my main ones. Larry also has some really cool gripper things. So I do like gripper stuff. And then one of the biggest things that Larry and I did forever, my forearms got massive when we did this. He has this thing called the Rolling Thunder, and we would put 90 pounds. I actually got up to like 135 pounds.
This one?
Like you stack the weights down and it's got a clip on it, and then it's got like a big round handle, and we would just lift it up and just hold it up off the ground for like, I think we would try to go as long as we could, or maybe
we go 1 minute.
60 seconds per hand, but then we would do a couple sets of that. So the Rolling Thunder was I think a big thing. I mean, you could maybe like grip 2 plates together, but actually just having forearm stuff in your workout is the way to do it. The same way people ask about like, how do I get big calves? It's like every week you fucking work calves. It's not like a afterthought. It's like if you want to grow your biceps, you were like specifically doing stuff. You're like, okay, this is a part of my program, and I'm like putting effort and I'm putting resources toward growing that. I'm not just kind of like, oh yeah, I want to grow forearms and then 1 set of curls and then you're done. So I think it's just like you have to put mindful effort into it.
I'll say this. I use grips when I train back, just because I don't want my hands to give out before my
100%. I use grips
when I'm doing like pull downs or whatever.
Yeah.
My forearms were genetically big from like even when I was young. They grew fast. It's like my forearms and calves grew fast, like immediately. However, when I power lifted, you're not allowed to use straps in deadlifting. So just deadlifting and holding on to that huge weight over the years really grew my forearms a lot. And then the Rolling Thunder is a grip thing. It's just another grip thing.
Yeah.
But it's with a big fat handle and you hold it for time. And we use that in powerlifting to fix people that have a problem with a grip. And I've had people like they could pull a deadlift off the ground, but they couldn't hold onto the bar because they had weak hands and they didn't have good grip. And after training on the Rolling Thunder, even for a couple of months, their grip strength changed tremendously. And that thing really just builds your forearms.
When I was starting to train, like 19 or so, I mean, I started a little earlier, I would do farmer carries all the time.
Yeah.
Like, take 2 dumbbells and walk rounds in the gym.
Yeah, just gripping heavy things for time will do that. Right now, on my arm day, I do what do you call it? Hammer curls. I'll do 2 sets of hammer curls with my bicep workout. One just a set of 20 and then a heavy drop set.
I've always been a big hammer curl, I actually do the pinwheel to the middle, but that is a hammer curl. So I've been a big proponent of that.
So I do those, and then at the end of my arm workout, I'll do like literally 1 set of wrist curls on this Nautilus Nitro machine, and this other thing where I twist for the upper forearm. And the only reason I only do the 1 set is because literally my forearms just blow up from doing that. And I've had them for so many years that I don't have to do much to maintain them. They just genetically are there.
Yeah.
I don't have to do a whole lot.
Larry always had big forearms.
I've always had them, but originally I built them with just gripping heavy shit.
I always like to deadlift as well, and I use straps when I do my working sets, but I always warm up 1 plate, no straps, 2 plates, 3 plates, 4 plates. I go to 5 plates and I do like a single at 5, and then I'll strap up when I go up to like my working weights. So,
well, you do high rep deadlifts.
Yeah, which I couldn't. I can only do, if I didn't use the straps, my grip would give out right away if after like the 3rd rep at 500, 585.
Well, see, I never, when I deadlifted for competition, I always did triples. Yeah. So I would go up to, over 600 pounds and no straps and just hold on.
You do mixed grip though, don't you?
Still, it doesn't matter. You're still gripping the bar.
I think it helps a little. I mean, or else people wouldn't do it, but I only do over.
Well, I it does help the bar from rolling out of your fingers, but you still have to hold on to the damn thing.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying you don't. It's definitely a lot of grip to it for sure.
Guys, I gotta leave soon, so let's get into Charlie Kirk, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do that.
So I've seen first of all, I want to say I didn't know much about Charlie Kirk. I'm going to say I didn't know anything about him. I never watched a podcast. I heard the name, but I never watched one of his podcasts. I didn't know what he was about. I didn't know what he stood for or anything.
I watch him all the time.
Okay, but I didn't until yesterday. But from what I've seen just as of yesterday is, he had certain values. I'm not going to say that I agreed 100% or with most or any of it, because I didn't, like I said, I didn't watch him, but he had his political beliefs, and maybe they were different from somebody else's political beliefs, but that's not a reason to assassinate him. And the people that are celebrating him being assassinated have something, they have something wrong with their head.
Yeah, obviously.
Because we live in a country where you don't assassinate people because they disagree with you over some political thing. You know?
People don't want to understand. For example, Charlie Kirk was big on Christianity and said we're a Christian nation. And that's already like people hate it, because people hate religion and people hate, everything that has to do with the white people. So they're already like, oh, this is a Nazi. And that's like total bullshit. And of course, the United States of America are founded on Christian values. Just because it's not written down in the Constitution and the first papers, what were they called? That it's Christian. It's like they were all Christians, and they had all their morality based on Christian values, and you can just see it in our laws that they're derived from, the 10 Commandments and everything. And all of our society is based on Christian values. And that's why we are a great society. And that,
I just want to qualify something you're saying is Judeo-Christian values, because some people don't realize that all the Christian stuff, aside from Jesus, came from the Jewish tradition. And Jesus himself was Jewish. So the 10 Commandments came from Jewish tradition. So just people clarify that.
Yeah.
The fundamental philosophy is the same.
Yeah.
So even I'm Jewish, but I fully endorse Christian people and their beliefs, because they align with my beliefs, which is, you shall not kill, murder, all these different things, steal from your brother, and all this. The morality is the same.
But it's so wild that this in itself will have people hate you. It is good values, man. Like, this is just law abiding if you have.
And this is the craziness of all of this. I see online people already with their conspiracy series saying Israel plotted to kill this guy. Come on, guys. Like, really?
He was very pro-Israel.
So why in the world would they plot to kill him?
You could say that in the last month, he kind of started to maybe turn a little bit, or see a little more of the other side. He was a little afraid on, when he hosted a debate between Dave Smith and some Jewish guy about Israel, that there was a lot of really bad, outrage on from the Israeli side and pro-Israeli people and AIPAC, and he was kind of like, wow, that shouldn't be. But he was still, till the end, very pro-Israel. And that argument makes no sense unless someone would know way more than he disclosed to the public. So he would have had a plan that no one knew about or something like that. So that makes very little sense. And then, people don't, what I realize is most of the people, they have a problem reasoning and using their rationale to come to conclusions. And when you do that, you have to think a long time, pros and cons, weigh it out. But if you are like most of the people on the left, that they live their whole life based on decisions made just by how they feel about it. Mm-hmm. They don't have to think more than 3 seconds about any decisions. They're like, feels good, feels bad, feels good, feels bad. That's it. And then they start debating the guy, and they get mad as hell because they have no arguments, because all they know is how they feel about something. Mm-hmm. And if they're actually egoistic, what most of them are, if you are pro-abortion, you have to be egoistic in a way. I can empathize with it in certain, situations that, damn, it's really a burden, but it can't be a reason to kill. And 99% of our abortions are not because of rape or incest. They're just like, shit, shouldn't have fucked that guy. So, and that's like 1 million people a year. And people hate him for stating that. He's defending the people that have no voice.
Yeah.
And
all he had was like rational kind of ideas. Like, I mean, he was kind of like a constitutional, like to the max. Like he was like First Amendment. Everyone should have their time to speak. He was giving them the Second Amendment. We have the right to have and bear arms. I mean, as Americans, that's kind of our right. Then how we like protected this country, how we took this country, and it's kind of our right now. I mean, even though he was killed because of gun violence, I mean, like what he's talking about is like protecting yourself. He's not talking about like allow guns to make murder okay. He's talking about like, we need to have the accessibility so that our government can't come in our house and tell us, like we tax every penny you've ever had, or we, like whatever. In other countries, they don't have guns and they can say what their government can tell them whatever they want to do, and they have to.
Exactly. That's his reasoning is that he's afraid of the government having a monopoly on weapons, and I totally get why, because then dictatorships and maybe communism, whatever, can happen, and he said, and that's what people hold against him now. He said a few gun deaths a year might be necessary, a necessary evil. We have to, but it's because when you do political decisions, you have to be somewhat utilitarian, and you have to see like how many people do I save? How many people are being saved by guns without ever using them too? Mm-hmm. If you go to Texas and you break into a house, you're going to be like, wait a minute, am I going to do that? Because here people have guns. If you do it in California, you'll be like, no one's going to shoot back. Let's go. Yeah. So there's a lot of crimes that could happen that might not even happen. So maybe if you look at statistics, you'll be like, that makes no sense. But you can't. So it's hard to say who's right and who's wrong because of numbers. But that's his reasoning, and he's explaining it, and he's giving everyone a platform on his own turning point where he has both sides on. Show me a Democrat outlet like Turning Point where they invite Republicans to debate them. Never.
Yeah.
Well, bottom line is, whether you agree with somebody's beliefs on a particular issue or overall, if you disagree with them, that doesn't give you the right to assassinate them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we live in chaos,
anarchy. Yeah.
It's tragic. I mean, it's a horrible thing. I mean, let's close it out with like kind of a thought. I think even though he was murdered by gun violence, I think that he would still be on the position that this is a necessary. The guns are necessary in the United States because it's part of the freedom that we got, and the freedom that we protect still is because of, the citizens being armed. The government should be afraid of its citizens, not the other way around. Like the citizens shouldn't be afraid that the government can just come in because they don't have any way to protect them and just or take or dictate.
Not only that, but we should be able to protect ourselves against other crazy people.
Yeah,
You
Like
could
the guy
make an
that just
argument.
stabbed the girl on the subway.
yeah.
If there was people in Texas in that subway that had guns on them,
It would have been different.
it would not have turned out like that. Most likely, that guy wouldn't have pulled out a pocket knife and stabbed her,
Yeah,
knowing that he was going to get shot.
true.
You could make an argument, though, for different regulations. To defend yourself, you probably don't need a sniper. So, anyone, you know what I mean? So if you don't have a hunting license or something like that, and you can prove you hunt animals for whatever reason, or like to sell the meat or, whatever, if you don't have a hunting license, you can't have a sniper, something like that. So
the problem is with that view is the people that want extreme gun control, they'll start with that, and then they'll take away the ability to have hunting rifles, and then they go a step further and they'll say, well, now we need to classify handguns as hunting rifles, and then they'll take away that, and then they'll say, well, now you can't even have a BB gun because you could kill so that there needs to be like the way the Second Amendment was written it shouldn't be really infringed upon, because you start giving, and then like every time there's a new Congress, there's going to be somebody going after a little bit, because that's what their job is. Their job is like to create new laws, and then you have 1,000 extra laws on the books that are over-regulated, which is kind of like what we're running into now. So I think that there should be, in today's day and age, there should be a conversation about the mental capacity, maybe some kind of like the access to guns should like not necessarily be in the hands of somebody that has the mental deficiencies, because that's what we're seeing. These people are just crazy. If you're going to shoot another person, you're just crazy. You're not like the law-abiding gun owners of America are not the problem. It's only the crazy people. And like, even if there's no guns, the crazy people are still going to stab people on fucking buses. So
That's what they do in Europe, where there's no guns.
Yeah.
They stab.
yeah, they're stabbing people. There's records stabbings. So I mean, but with Leo saying about the gun control, we need to just have like, maybe that's one thing that we should have, is like stop it at like some sort of mental deficiency test. Or
I agree, but are there really all kinds of weapons allowed now everywhere? Aren't there no restrictions right now?
Well, I don't think you can have fully automatic.
What can't you have?
Fully automatic weapons.
See, if you can't have, why not add snipers to it? I mean, just that one.
But you're saying snipers.
I'm just seeing this assassination thing, and that can't,
Yeah, you're saying snipers, and I mean that comes down to hunting rifles, and then if you can't have hunting rifles, then
Hold on.
Let's get argument with the automatic ones, and
let's get to the Leo. Let me frame something in so people can understand something. If you banned all new gun sales today,
wouldn't change it.
It would not stop anything, because there's enough guns already in the country.
There's like
that if somebody is actively wanting to sniper somebody, they can get their hands on a rifle.
Mm-hmm.
If they're hell bent on doing that. So banning rifles is not going to get rid of that crazy ass that wants to get one and shoot somebody. Mm-hmm. You're not protecting anybody with that thing, because the person that wants it will find one.
Maybe you can protect people in 20 years. Just because right now it wouldn't do anything doesn't mean when we put it in
Leo,
now, have no effect.
Right now you can make guns with carbon print. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Ghost guns.
Yeah.
They have these carbon, I think they're called carbon printers or something. They make a gun and a printer of any kind of gun you want. They can make a fully automatic Uzi machine gun in a carbon printer machine.
Is that so easy?
Yeah. I know a guy that just got busted selling them. He was making hundreds of them, and he was selling them. They have no serial numbers, no nothing. So instead of people going legally and buying guns that are registered and can be traced back to an owner, they're getting these carbon printed guns. Let
me make one final statement. So if Charlie Kirk was someone who was so so blatantly wrong with his views. And he's everywhere to debate people. And if someone is like so wrong, isn't it the easiest thing, if you have the opposing opinion, to go up there and just annihilate him with all of your arguments?
Yeah, but
isn't it the easiest thing? And because it is the easiest thing for him to annihilate most of the people, the reason why is because he has arguments and they don't. And that's why they shoot, because they don't have arguments.
They don't have loose.
If they were really right, they could debate him, but they can't.
True. All right.
The best
Leo,
ideas should win.
You got to go, Leo?
Yep, I got to go now.
All right. We got a few more Q&A questions. Larry, you want to stay on for a few more minutes and answer some
Bye, guys. Bye, guys.
Later, Leo. Thanks for coming on, man.
No one get radical now. Don't kill each other.
All right, guys. Let me find another question. What's the best way to get washboard abs and maintaining it? What's the best way to do it? Just stay in the gym. Don't take any. Don't let it get that way in the first place. I mean, get it and then maintain your lifestyle and keep
basically,
it.
Number one, having a low percentage of body fat, which is mostly dietary. And you can train your abs. I mean, I've been training my abs. I train them prior to each workout as part of my warm-up. I just do these dead bug crunches, which is a combination of a crunch and a leg raise. And I just do like 30 of them, and then I do 10 planks as part of my warm-up. And then once a week, I do the Nautilus ab machine heavy. And I've had abs forever. And when I was younger, I trained a lot of abs, but mainly it's just low body fat.
I mean, you always stayed lean. I always stay relatively lean too, just because I like having a good physique. I like being a bodybuilder that looks like a bodybuilder. So, I mean, if I don't eat donuts and fucking cheeseburgers every day. I eat steak and rice. I got steak and rice in the fridge waiting for me for when I get off this. So yeah, like I was saying, whatever you did to get down to that body fat, I mean, now there's tools available. There's retatrutide to help you get off that body fat, to help you control your hunger. It helps you control your blood sugar. Do your cardio. Do it every fucking day. Do 20, 30 minutes. Get it down. Take out the junk food out of your diet. No sweets, no sugars, no sodas. Eat high protein, moderate fats, moderate carbs. Kind of do all those things. Bring it down. Take check-ins every week. Take a check-in photo. Check your weight once a week. Check your check-in photo. If you're going over a month and it's been exactly the same weight, then you're like, okay, whatever I'm doing, I'm not moving enough, or I'm eating too much. So, if you can't do it yourself, hire a coach and have them monitor it for you as you're doing it. So those are the things to get down. And then when you get down, figure out a way to maintain that lifestyle. Don't just get down and say like, man, check that off my list. Now I'm going to go to fucking Dunkin' Donuts and just eat faceplant everything in sight. Here's another. I wish Leo would have been on for this question. This is a good question. It says, do you believe guys should come off gear completely to respond better when they go on gear the next time? Or do you think guys should just bridge like with TRT?
There's different philosophies in that. And then some people believe that the receptors downregulate if you take gear consistently over time. And that has been debated whether that really happens or not.
I don't. Apparently, because of science, people talking about it, they say that the androgen receptors don't downregulate, but there's cascades of other things going on. Myostatin, maybe mental fatigue, maybe, just there's a lot of other things that could be happening. So coming off gear is important, but I'll let you finish. But yeah, that's my opinion. There's other shit happening other than just androgen receptors.
Well, you got two things you're looking at. One is for making gains. Another thing is for health benefits and they're kind of
talking about making gains.
Yeah. But I think if you go down to a TRT dosage and let your, liver and kidneys and everything else kind of normalize out from whatever blast that you were doing for a period of time, so your blood markers are good, then you should be fine. Do I think you should go completely off? If you're young and you're able to do a real PCT that actually works, then, well, in other words, you're able to make your own testosterone come back, which means you're going to need to stay off the gear for at least several months for that to actually happen.
You're trying to get it to come back.
You can't go off for like a month and a half and think that your testosterone is going to come back like that.
I think that you can get those processes, those cascades of other biological processes can get resensitized after 2 months, 3 months. I don't think your testosterone is going to bounce back, not in that time. Maybe like 25% of like what it was. Say you came off and you were at like 50, I think you could maybe get up to like 200 after 3 months of being off, but I don't think you're going to get back up to 700 or 800 until maybe two or 3 years of being off. Like, I think it's going to take a long time. I personally always liked coming off, but when I say off, I liked running just HCG at a really high dose the whole time I was off, trying to get my own natural production, kind of going through a synthetic method. And I would run 1,000 IUs a day throughout the whole time. I would try to maintain, this kept my sexual health going. My testicle size came back, all these things. I didn't have like a massive dip. And I actually blood tested while I was on this, and I would get up to 800-900 while running this. And then I would go back on after 10, 12 weeks, and then I would have really good results. So I haven't done that in a while, but that's my favorite method to coming off. If you don't have, that's a pretty expensive method. I think taking maybe 150 milligrams a week is TRT is like another method to do it. I personally think that I got the best results when I completely cleaned out of synthetic testosterone, though.
I have seen a young guy come completely off and took clomiphene with HCG and brought his levels up to, I believe it was 600 to 800 in about 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
But this was a guy that.
How long did he run HCG for, though? Or how long did he run the PCT for?
Oh, the whole time.
So the thing is, if he blood tested while he was still running that, he's just he's not necessarily. If he took all those drugs out, his shit would probably drop back down to like 200.
I'm just saying his natural testosterone came out from the HCG and the clomiphene.
Yeah. Well, I mean, mine, like I said, mine would come up to that 900 range from running that high dose of HCG. So, you are making testosterone. That is yours. But I mean, if I took that out, then I still don't have,
No, you're not going to, your body's not going to just keep producing at that level on zero of anything.
Yeah.
No, you're probably going to drop back down to 200-300 or something like this.
Yeah.
So I guess the reality is most people, once they take a cycle and then they take a second cycle and a third cycle, they're probably not going to stay off for 6 months at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to work for most people.
If you keep your foot on the gas with training, I think you can maintain. You're one that did that. You went to prison, you came off, and you did the stuff, but you were in the prison eating every day, recovering quite a bit, training often, so you did the other things to maintain the muscle besides just hormone. It's not just a hormone thing. If you are taking a bunch of steroids and you're just laying around, you're probably still going to atrophy to like, not maybe to the level without it, but you're going to atrophy quite a bit if you're not using your legs at all. Look at the men's physique guys. They don't train their legs. They got itty bitty legs. They're giant up top. They got itty bitty legs and they're taking a bunch of gear. So if you're just, the
training is going to maintain the muscle beyond the drugs.
A lot of people think it's like, oh, if I'm off these drugs, then there's nothing else. But I mean, the food is a huge factor. You know, you keep your food high, keep the calories high where you're not wasting away, keep your protein high, and then keep your training good. You know, like, yeah, whenever I come off, I lose my peak volumes. I lose my volume strength. Like, I'm not going to be deadlifting 585 for reps, but I still have peak strength. Like, if I do work up to that, I can hit a single at 585 when I'm on nothing for 3 months. And then as I put the gear back in, my volume will come back up where I can hit sets of 10 with that. But I think that's kind of something to just be mindful of, is that you need to continue those other things. It's not just the gear that's going to be.
I've gone off for extended periods of time, but I kept training hard and eating, and I didn't lose hardly anything.
Yeah.
But most people don't do that. And when they go off, they stop training and eating. So then they wonder why they're shrinking.
Yeah. Somebody asked, what's the biggest load of bullcrap advice you hear commonly shared in the bodybuilding community?
You could go on that for years.
I mean, if there's anything on the top of your head, I can't necessarily. Let me think. The problem is, you and I are so advanced, I don't really listen to anything that like somebody is saying. If there's some podcast and I don't respect the people, I'm like, I'm just gonna shut that off. I don't really like get into their like why their shit is wrong.
I won't say
like, that's stupid.
I won't say a specific thing. I will say this: there are people in this industry that promote stuff that is complete bullshit just to be different.
What kind of stuff? What do you mean?
They'll promote weird cycles.
Taking master on
weird cycles, weird supplement protocols, weird training protocols that are just, far off from what everybody else is doing.
They're trying to reinvent the wheel
because they're trying to sell something. They're trying to sell you a dream of, you can do this without having to put in as much hard work.
Yeah, I think they're trying to create a business for themselves. And I think maybe they lie to themselves and think that they're a fucking genius. And they're like, okay, if I put out this different kind of information or different type of training or different type of eating, that I like reinvented the concept of bodybuilding, just the tried and true stuff works. I mean, there's maybe little tweaks that we can do that are cool.
Let me put it like this. Okay. Not a whole lot has changed as far as like what works in bodybuilding over the last 50 years.
Yeah.
There's not anything that we're doing now other than eating more food and taking growth hormone and insulin than people were doing 50 years ago. Some things are a little bit better. I mean, we have better training machines to train on, but I mean, people built massive physiques with free weights in the 80s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just hard work and eating enough quality food, and then, restricting calories when you want to lose body fat. Mm-hmm. The simple basic things are what does it. All these other like newfangled, like this is all of a sudden going to change your results. Well, it's not. I don't think the top guys are doing anything like so crazy different than everybody did before.
They're doing genetics and consistency is it. I mean, maybe some little things, you see a guy come in better to a show. I think they just kind of nailed his peak and stuff better, but I don't think that like overall, I think you're right. It's all just take a certain number of gear, lift consistently, eat consistently, and you're going to put on size, and then the opposite for losing fat. Bring your calories down, bring your movement up. Thoughts on combining. This is a good one actually for a follow-up question. Thoughts on combining HGH and IGF-1 long R3.
I talked about this last week. I've taken the HGH, the one you get from the peptide sites, and it did nothing for me.
Yeah, I've been seeing it come up a lot. I have clients that I train, and there are a couple guys asking me they want to put in IGF-1, and I'm like, we had that stuff back in like 2005, and it was all the rage. Everyone was buying it, thinking I was looking at all the bodybuilding.com forum people doing updates and everything like that, logs, workout logs, steroid logs. It went out of popularity because it didn't fucking work.
Me and Boston were
was
prepping.
a pipe dream, and it did not fucking work.
Boston and I were prepping for a show at the same time, and we talked on a daily basis, and we were all shooting ourselves with peptides fucking during the workout, after the workout. I had the IGF desk, the LR3, the DAC, the this, the that, the
nothing
that.
Better. You didn't get any bigger than you would have just probably not even fucking using it.
Yeah, it didn't do shit other than what I was already doing, which was the regular gear.
Yeah. Somebody did in the chat. If you guys are watching and you guys got questions, drop them in the chat right now. We're going to be on for probably another 10 or 15 minutes, and we would love to answer your guys' live questions.
This one, Propecia for hair loss. Okay, so your
level.
What's
that?
What Propecia does is it raises your SHBG, which is
it's the same as finasteride, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Which it's what that's going to do. It's going to bind up your testosterone, so you have less free testosterone, and that's how it lowers your hair loss, because you have less free testosterone. It doesn't lower your testosterone level. It will lower the level of your free testosterone.
I thought that it's a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor. So there's an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase that converts testosterone into dihydroxytestosterone. Dihydroxytestosterone is what kills your hair follicles. So by reducing your DHT, you reduce that. But DHT also has the effect of a lot of secondary sex characteristics, and it's like the anabolic kind of side of testosterone. It's what makes your voice deep. It's what makes you grow facial hair. It's what makes, does all these things. So if you're inhibiting that hormone, you're going to be inhibiting the benefits of the testosterone itself. So I think that's where you really kind of get lower feeling like a man. I think they call it finasteride syndrome, where you feel like you can't get an erection. You feel like all those things. So it's worse for some people. Maybe it's dose dependent. Sometimes if you're prone to hair loss, it's kind of an inevitable thing. So
look, Dave Colombo says he's used it successfully, but he also took 1,000 milligrams of testosterone a week.
A lot of people use finasteride successfully. A lot of people get benefits from it, but a lot of people use decadurabolin successfully. If I use it, I get fucking terrible decadick. Some people do, some people don't. I mean, so I think it's just, you got to kind of see, and if you feel like shit on it, then maybe pick another method for your.
But yeah, it will
lower. It's a topical DHT inhibitor.
It will lower your dihydrotestosterone, and therefore the effects of the testosterone won't be as pronounced as it would be otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't have a huge hair loss problem. So it never was a huge concern of mine. But other than that, I just, for that reason alone, I don't like that drug.
I've never used it. I've always been afraid of not having benefits. I mean, thankfully I have pretty good hair, but I think that's just genetic. I think I have lucky genetics. I don't do anything special for my hair that anyone else is doing. Is getting rid of carbs to lean out a good idea?
It depends on a few things. Number one, like how insulin sensitive you are, and how much body fat you have. Some people with a really fast metabolism, like myself, can eat more carbs and stay lean.
Mm-hmm.
Other people, they eat carbs and they just get fat. The more carbs you take in, the more insulin your body makes. For most people, the more fat you're going to get. So if you lower carbs, you're going to lower insulin and you're going to lose body fat.
I would say that it's mostly a calorie equation. If you have your proteins and your fats equated for your amount of muscle that you have, then, you can use the carbs as an effective way to bring that down. I think that carbs, specifically sugar, is a real problem for most people because it is so easy to try to overeat protein. Just try. You will not overeat protein. You cannot overeat protein. You get stuck at a couple 100 grams a day. Carbs, you can eat a fucking 1,000 grams a day. Your body just, like, insulin starts spiking up, and it's so easy to overeat carbs. So limiting them, I don't think necessarily taking them out completely is the answer for everybody. I think it can be an effective tool periodically, maybe through a cut, and maybe at the end, certain things to really get off if you're doing a bodybuilding contest type thing. But limiting them and having them accounted for, it's a good way to do it. No, I don't necessarily think taking them out completely is the best, but I think that there are applications where you can take them out for a period and get extremely good benefits from it.
Someone asked best exercise for outer sweep. I'm just going to say this, either a hack squat or a leg press with a close stance.
Yep.
The closer your stance is, the more outer quads you're going to get.
Yep.
The more quads period you're going to get. The wider your stance, the more it's going to start focusing on the abductors and the hamstrings and the glutes. So if you want to focus on your hamstrings and glutes, squat wide or leg press wide. If you want to focus on your quads more, go to a narrower stance. It's really that simple. I don't think there's any secret to that.
Yeah. Tips to grow and feel chest movements.
Okay, this is a good one because there are people that are what I call limb dominant. They have really great legs and great arms. Not everybody, but a lot of people you see they have great arms and great legs and weaker torsos. I've seen people like this. Like, I know a guy that I'm training right now. His arms are fucking huge for his size.
Yeah, his arms are gigantic. I've seen his arms in there, and I'm like, fuck, as a pro bodybuilder, I'm jealous of this amateur's arms because they're so big.
Yet his chest is not all that. And the reason is, no matter how hard he presses and no matter how much weight, and he can press a shit ton of weight on a flat or an incline in a machine or with a barbell, it doesn't matter.
But it's
all triceps and shoulders.
Yeah.
His triceps and shoulders are totally taking over that movement. So for him, it's going to be any kind of fly type of movement.
That's what I was going to say.
That he can get his arms out of it. Now, if you're not limb dominant or you don't have like crazy tricep strength, then heavy presses will work for you.
Yeah.
It just depends on your genetic structure and, where the movement is hitting you. Like, I get great results in my chest from any kind of pressing, whether it's an incline or a flat, whether it's on a machine or with a barbell or with dumbbells. It works more of my chest for me, but I don't have the greatest triceps in the world. My tricep strength is not all that.
Mm-hmm.
So my chest takes over.
Use your chest to take over. I think really, if you're not feeling your chest, then modify your form. You don't want to bring your elbows too high, but the higher you bring your elbows, the more it's going to put on your pecs. You really do risk a pec tendon injury if you start getting way out here with a lot of weight. I typically tuck my elbows and I have to do more reps before I really get to that point where I start feeling my chest, but it's a lot safer. So if you're pressing and you don't feel it in your chest, keep doing more volume. Like Larry said, do flies. Flies are how I start all my chest movements now. I do a lot of warm-ups with flies, and then I go over to my pressing movements.
Now, even though I get good results from pressing, I still warm up with a cable fly. Mm-hmm. And I do this for two reasons. One, to warm up the chest, to get blood in there and stretch it out. But I'm also like really engaging my mind-muscle connection with the flies before I start the pressing movements. So I only do like 3 sets of flies before I start the pressing. But by the time I go into those pressing movements, my chest has already got a pretty good pump going, and I got a really good connection with my chest. So then when I start pressing, I'm feeling it more in my chest and less in my arms and stuff.
Yep. Let's see. Somebody asked, what's your favorite kitchen tool for meal prep? Do you have like a air fryer, or what do you use at home for your kitchen stuff?
I cook in bulk.
You just do it old school with a pot and pan?
Sometimes I use a conventional oven.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just like take 40 chicken breasts and I brine them in a big thing of salt water for 30 minutes. And then I lay them out on racks with tin foil in them. And I coat them with a little bit of olive oil. And then I put my seasoning on them and I throw them in the oven for, 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
And they're done. And I'll have like 40 chicken breasts made. Other times I'll just take ground turkey and ground beef and I'll just throw it in a frying pan and I'll cook that all up and I heat my rice and I'll mix it all up in a big, huge pot.
I do steak, chicken, and salmon, and then shrimp. Steak and salmon and even chickens, I'll mostly cook on the barbecue. I have a grill outside. If I didn't have a grill, I probably would do pan for the steak. The chicken, I really like shredded chickens. I'll do it in a crock pot. Great. You can get a few pounds of chicken, throw them in, put some chicken stock or beef stock, throw some pepper, salt in it, and just cook it. And then 6 hours later, it comes out, you just shred it up. You can weigh out whatever you need. I like the air fryer for doing a lot of things in, it's good for all your veggies and stuff. I like to do like sweet potatoes in there. I like to do my shrimp in there. And then I love my rice cooker. I love rice over potatoes for my carbs. And then otherwise carb wise, I really do a lot of fruit. I do it kind of seasonally as stuff comes in. When pineapples are really in, when watermelon is in, when grapes are in, I kind of just like go through the seasons of whatever kind of fruit is available. So, I kind of use it all. I kind of use the pan when I got to. The barbecue is my favorite, and then the rice cooker, air fryer, and slow cooker. So
I gotta tell you,
really lucky. I have a one that's all in one. It has an air fryer, it has a slow cooker, it has all that stuff. It's like, I think it's made by Ninja. It's called like the 9-in-1 or something like that. It's kind of a big piece, but at least I don't have to have like 4 different pieces.
Lately, I've been doing just a lot of ground turkey with ground beef mixed together.
Mm-hmm.
And I do it for 2 reasons. One, it's fast and easy to prepare. But the other reason is it's easy for me to get it down.
Yeah.
If I just mix up I take my ground turkey and ground beef and mix it with rice in a big, huge bowl. And then I'll throw some avocado in there and mix that into it with some seasoning. And I can take a spoon and I can shovel that stuff down. And I use these crackers. They're gluten-free. What are they called? I just blanked out. You get them at Costco.
There's crackers.
They're not wheat crackers. They're
it's like bean, like beans or something like that, or
no. Shoot. Anyways, they're gluten-free crackers. You get them at Costco, and they're made out of it's the stuff that's it's a fat. You know what I'm talking about?
A fat?
Yeah, no. It's right on the tip of my head.
The keto ones? I don't know.
And look, I'll tell you real quick.
All right. That's the end of the Q&A that I put up questions. So we had several good ones. Thanks for dropping those in, guys. While Larry's getting that, if you
they are, they're almond flour. They're made out of almond flour, and I just like those for the crunchiness. And the reason I eat that is because I can just shovel that stuff down. If I have to sit there and cut up a freaking steak or a chicken, and it takes me a half an hour to eat the damn thing because I'm cutting the whole thing the whole time.
Yeah,
chewing it. I just won't eat that much.
Yeah, I like to do those rice cakes with the shredded chicken on top, and then if I need some fats, I'll throw some like avocado on top of that. That's actually a pretty good one because it's kind of like it's almost like an appetizer, but I can get like 3 or 4 of those down, and then I like doing that. And it's kind of
I'll give you guys a tip for those for anybody who's on a budget. At Costco, they sell bull meat chub, which is ground bull meat, and it's a 10-pound tube, and it's $50.
Yep,
so that's $5 a pound, and that's extra lean, really good quality meat.
It's like 95% lean. It's the leanest you're going to get. So what they actually do, I was talking to the guy at the butcher in there, and that's how they get all their meat. They get all their meat as that bull meat, and then they mix in the fat to make that like 85-15 that you see in the packs. They mix in the fat back in the back. So there's nothing weird about it. It's because it's a bull. It's not anything. They're all the same ones. They get all of them the same. And yeah, it's great.
But you got to ask for it at the butcher section. They don't have it out in the store.
Yeah, it comes in like a big long tube.
Yep. But I even feed that to my dog because it's so cheap.
Yeah.
It's literally $49 for 10 pounds, $5 a pound. You can't beat that.
All right, Larry, let's wrap it up.
All right. So don't forget to like, subscribe so we keep doing this, and send us your comments on Instagram and during the week so we can keep putting up more content for you guys. And let us know what you can always reach us through our social medias or emails and let us know what subjects you'd like us to talk about. And we will, as far as anything, like we will talk about anything on this show. I mean, we talk about if it's a good topic. We're not going to talk about bullcrap.
All right, guys. All right. Thanks a lot, Larry.
I believe that the fires were cast upon on the flames we shall become. I believe in a common cause.